Okay, so we're continuing with the hero's journey this week. We have part three here. And we have a hero now who has either accepted the call to adventure, either immediately, or we have a hero who, after a refusal of the call, has been convinced either by adverse circumstances that have occurred, things that have happened to him or her, or has been convinced by a mentor to finally accept the call. So now, having taken up the call, the hero will need to cross a threshold into the special world, and this threshold will more than likely be guarded by a threshold guardian. Now, think back to Gilgamesh. When did we see Gilgamesh having to pass a threshold? He did it twice, right? And who's the first guardian Gilgamesh comes across while looking for Utanapishtim? All right, so related to that. Now, the world beyond the threshold is going to be an unknown world. It's going to be dangerous and more than likely a world of darkness. So Campbell believes that this region allows for the unconscious to project dangerous desires such as patricide, wanting to kill one's parent, incest, wanting to have sex with her, etc. And these desires take the dangerous forms of ogres, sirens, or seductive women, and are seen as dangerous to the individual and to society. Look back now at the Greeks and their fear of incest, and the Romans and their fear of incest. And incest is one of the taboos seen in all societies. And there's good reason for that taboo. You'll eventually have huge problems if incest isn't outlawed and made a universal taboo. Now, since these gardens usually have supernatural powers, it's a bad idea to challenge a guardian. You're probably going to get your butt kicked. Yet, the hero still has to pass into the other realm, so has to get past the guardian. So many times this means that the guardian must be befriended, must be tricked, or sidestepped. So in many cultures, your hero tends to be something of a trickster because a trickster is able to get past these guardians. Now, sometimes all you need is a mere riddle to suffice to get you past, an answer to a riddle. If any of you are familiar with Monty Python's The Holy Grail, there's the old man at the bridge. They have to cross this bridge that goes across this chasm. And, the question is, what's the wind speed velocity of a swallow, right? If you haven't seen the movie, watch it. Anyway, no matter what happens, either live or possibly as one of the dead, because you do have myths where you have to actually physically die. This is true in Greek and Roman mythology, where you have to pass into the world of the dead, right? You've got to pass. Now, symbolically, the passing over the threshold can be seen as rebirth. Right? In many myths, this is some variation on being swallowed into the belly of the whale, which once you get out of that whale, it's a rebirth. All right, so you also have examples of this, such as Raven of the Eskimo culture, who flies into the gullet of a whale. Heracles, on his way back to Troy, finds a city being harassed by a sea monster that eats the people. So Heracles allows himself to be swallowed by the monster and then cuts his way out with a knife, leaving the monster dead. Now, all these stories are stories of self-annihilation, symbolizing the hero turning his attention inward to be born again. And that's what this being swallowed by into the belly of the whale is representing. Now, once the hero has crossed the first threshold and entered the special world, in many myths, the hero is now dead to time. So time passes, but not for her or him, as he or she is no longer the person who began the journey. As far as myths go, the hero has entered the world womb, or the navel, or some type of earthly paradise. Now, to escape this special world and return to the ordinary world, it will require that the hero give up his or her ego. And again, remember, this is what Campbell says is one of the main reasons for these myths and stories to exist in a culture. Now, the hero has entered an otherworldly world that is more like a dream landscape, where the laws of nature do not hold sway and where the hero must face and pass many trials and tribulations. So here's the majority of the journey. And it is here now, in this otherworldly world, that the supernatural helper can offer aid, or the amulets and magical tokens that the hero has gathered along his or her journey can come into effect and help the hero. Or the hero may, then this is an option, may discover an otherwise undiscoverable hidden power. So modern examples of these would be Frodo discovering the ring can make him invisible, right? Or Harry Potter discovering his magical powers. So this is a modern interpretation of this myth. Okay, so that concludes the third portion of the hero's journey. We'll take up the fourth part, grabbing the magic elixir, in week 6.